This is iLLism.
And you're listening to The Vanguard.
Got it. First try. Thank
Right?
you guys so much for being here.
15th try.
Well, thank you guys for being here. You really brought the energy on this kind of really cold day, so I appreciate you guys being here. And I think first and foremost, since you guys brought the energy with the whole band, if we could just introduce the band members today.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kind of go from there.
absolutely.
Yes. Well, we have our homeboy Mike Green on guitar. We have Scott Mullenberg on bass.
And Rottweiler.
On the drums, who just celebrated a birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday. And how did this group come to be? How did you guys all meet each other and kind of assemble iLLism?
Yeah. You know, we are missing our keyboard player and MD, which is Marcus Woodard. He wasn't able to be here. But he and I, we did a lot of our own individual careers for a really long time. And then we came together as iLLism. And then
2015.
in 2015. And then my former brother-in-law, he was one of the leads over at Rhymestayer, so he had great connections to get into Soundset, obviously. And it was the year that J. Cole was there, and we were like, his band.
We need a band.
Yeah.
You know, and so we just started, networking and going to shows and seeing what artists we could find, other musicians that we could find, and
Really just kind of handpicked.
yeah, and honestly, McNally
McNally.
was the key,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. McNally Smith was the key.
Definitely.
Very cool. And so today we heard tracks from Illuminate and Family Over Everything. What was the inspiration behind picking those tracks today?
You know, I guess right now with the way that the times are, those songs are really relevant. First song was Boss. That's just really just being on top of your A game. If you don't build your dream, somebody else is going to come in and hire you to build theirs. Then we have Who You Lovin'. There's not a lot of self-love right now. And we ended off with Black Magic, which is...
Because we black.
yeah,
We
magical.
magic. And it's all just a message. I feel like we all kind of just goes together, just like walking your purpose, walking who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you take your most recent project from summer of 2021, Family Over Everything. How does that compare to older projects and maybe even He Say, She Say back in the day?
Oh,
man.
dang, you took it back.
He's trying
I feel like you're not right. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, oh, wow. Oh, dang. He Say, She Say. Ooh, he does all of our engineering. He does.
Okay, so that's been the consistent.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
and just the growth. Like, your growth is incredible.
Yeah, you can hear it in each album, too. Like the
From going to,
sound.
smushed to open. And when it was smushed, we didn't know it, but it was just like, man, this is it. You're just so proud of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the biggest difference between a lot of those tracks.
Evolution.
The writing,
Yeah.
taking out the auto-tune. We loved
Okay.
auto-tune because auto-tune
I know you did back in the day with your solo music
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Some party tracks in there.
Yeah.
I might have to reintroduce that a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing's
No, it's
wrong with
fun.
auto-tune. Nothing's wrong
Yeah.
with we have dialed it back.
Absolutely.
It's not so auto-tuney as
Yeah.
it once was. I would
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
Yeah, and the musicians, we were able to work with musicians on Love and Loyalty, Illuminate even more so, and then we get to Family Over Everything, and it's,
Yeah.
bringing out lots of tracks together as a group.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Love and Loyalty, I heard you guys kind of saying in an interview that was really conscious telling a story.
Yeah.
And then you had Illuminate, which didn't necessarily have as much direction, and it was a lot of raw emotion. What was Family Over Everything like then?
I think the same thing. I think
Yeah.
just a lot of raw emotion. We were at a critical time actually in our relationship where our music and the career was, we were busy. We were doing South by Southwest. We did
Right.
Paisley Park.
Oh, man.
We
Right.
did Super Bowl Live. It was
Nam.
NAM. It was just nonstop. And the effect that it can actually have on, we're married. We've been married for 13 years.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2009 we got married.
Yeah.
13 years we've been
Yeah.
married, and our relationship has never experienced that.
Okay.
It has never experienced, us having to be envy and fancy, and also just our regular everyday selves, and how do we deal with that? And so Family Over Everything was, putting family back at the center of all of it.
Okay.
I think that's really the truth behind that album.
And you were pregnant at the time, too.
We were pregnant. Yeah, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So
The
most
birth
of
of
it
our
was
son
recorded.
is in the album.
Right.
You can hear him on some songs, which is really, really great. And that turn in our life really just put family and friends and people we love and care about, at the forefront. Yeah.
Yeah, so priorities kind of start to shift. And
Yeah.
if you kind of look back, what would you say to the kids that were working at AT&T together? What words of advice would you
God, how do
give
you
to
know
them?
Like, you police? No, I'm just-
Yeah.
no, I think, man,
At AT&T.
at AT&T, just hold tight.
Okay.
Hold
Yeah.
tight. I think that's what I would
we
tell
used to
them.
drive around. We would go on our breaks together and we would listen to songs. We listened to music together.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I could sit in the back seat of some of those rides,
Oh man.
it'd just be like,
Yeah.
y'all have no
Yeah.
idea.
The ride you
But
about to
just
go
keep
on.
going, like trust in each other, like really,
Gotcha.
really trust in each other,
Yeah.
believe in one another, be loyal to one another, be honest, be true, share your emotions. Don't be afraid
Don't
to.
hold back.
Yeah, because what you are capable of doing and what you are going to do is going to be, historical. It's going to be history.
And little did we know at that time we weren't going to be working that much longer. You know,
Yeah.
we really just took it in our own hands and we're like, screw working at a job. We're about to figure this thing out. There's no plan Bs.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been on.
Yeah.
Oh, I can definitely see the power of teamwork and cohesiveness throughout your whole career. And speaking of that, and you kind of mentioned things started to pick up, and you're performing what seemed to be everywhere. Do you have favorite performances in mind? I know I feel like the Super Bowl performance and Paisley Park will probably stick out, but
Yeah.
what are some of those like pivotal?
Yeah, I would say those two are definitely like our top five.
Okay.
I think Nam was really
Yeah.
cool too.
Which
Just
one?
being in the whole, all of them. I think our last one that we just did at Nam earlier this year was probably like
The preparation was a lot different.
it was a
Okay.
lot different preparation, but just the response. I think
Gotcha.
The responses are just
That's a great show.
yeah. I think for me, I would say Nam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have so many.
Sure.
It's easy, I feel like, to pick the big ones, of course. Paisley Park was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
It absolutely
Yeah.
was. Yeah, just the energy in that space.
Yeah.
You just feel it.
Yeah, you feel Prince's energy in that space.
Yeah.
It's
And
powerful.
and we really did connect and make really, really great relationships with the people who are at Paisley. And they have been incredible supporters of our music ever since we stepped foot in there. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you build those connections. And you said at the most recent NAM, it was a different preparation. What does that mean exactly?
Well, we weren't putting out an album.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
first time we went to NAM in 2019, we had just put out our Illuminate.
Gotcha.
Just put it out a week after our album release show, which was over at the Amsterdam. We then all flew out. And
Just kind of tired, drained.
yeah, tired,
Sure, yeah,
drained,
yeah.
and just, man, woo, there was a lot going on that
Yeah.
year. And we had just found out that we were going to be doing the state fair as well, which is
Oh,
another
yeah.
great performance.
definitely.
Another great performance over at the state
Definitely.
fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that just the preparation was different. Different players too.
Okay.
Not necessarily Mike, our guitar player, and Rottweiler, but Scott was new to the fold.
Gotcha.
And being able to have Scott.
Yeah, different energy, different like grind. So
Yeah,
exactly
you
what we were
know,
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool to add new team members. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, just new vibe,
Yeah.
new people bringing their energy we love that.
Yeah. So on one end, you have kind of the historic moments you've had as a group playing those huge shows. I do have to ask if there were any humbling moments kind of along this journey, performances
yeah.
that maybe are lowlights. And if you could tell me about like one of those low light situations where you're like, oh man, that was
The
that
one
was a
gig
little rough.
I'll never forget is we play a show. I'm not gonna name the venue,
Okay.
but we play a show and we're like, yeah, we're gonna have a packed show. It's gonna be a full house tonight. We're gonna
I
rock
know.
out.
Yeah.
Not that many people showed up, and this is in our earlier stages, but still. At the end of the night, we square up with the venue, and they're gonna pay
And
us
we
out.
had to pay
Yeah.
in.
We had to pay in.
Oh, I think I remember
And-
you like it was like a profit of maybe like $7, and then you had
Yeah,
that.
it was like, oh wow, no, it was that.
Yeah.
But he rounded it up and gave us a 20.
Oh,
Like,
that's
you know
right.
what?
That's right. I think I remember you about that.
He said, you know what?
Yeah.
Instead of $17,
Yeah.
let me give you a 20. I ain't got change.
That's what it was. 17. Yep.
It was,
Yeah.
but super humbling because
Yes.
it was just like, we all get together and we're all excited
Yeah,
and,
yeah, of course.
we're the manager we had at the time, he also worked with Beyonce too. So we're just like, this is it. Just keep gigging, keep doing what you want to do. And then we get there and we're like, oh, hi, Mom and Dad. You're the audience.
A couple friends.
Yeah,
and
and
that's
a couple of friends. Yeah, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And the reason there's nothing wrong with that is because you do have to start somewhere. Of course we want a sea of people. And, I think every artist closed their eyes and they envision, the stars, right? Like everyone has their cell phones up and the lights. And if you've ever been to an arena show, everyone, you get that moment. Every artist gets that moment at an arena show.
Definitely.
And when you're on the come up and your goal is to get close to that, touch it even if you can. When it's just one sparkle, you be like,
one
oh.
phone.
But we are blessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are blessed.
Absolutely. And I can see the different influences on both sides. I know Aaliyah's a big part of your inspiration. And then I think I saw in a video maybe Snoop Dogg and Tupac. But how did those influences come together, and what is that? I'm curious just what the writing process looks like, I guess. How you guys have pushed each other over such a long career, because I know that's important to keep pushing each other.
Well, one thing for us has always been a constant is us, we ride around, we cruise around the city all the time.
Okay.
And so, like, I always play instrumentals, and, like, that's really where it starts.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ideas that have sparked just from riding around looking at stuff. Sometimes you just get inspiration from the scenery, what's happening on the streets. So
yeah, we're totally inspired by where we come from. That's our core for sure. The music we listen to is also the core of I think who we are too. Just what we digested as kids. I would like to think that everyone's kind of this way, which is, when that one song comes on from when you were like 12, it just still hits the same.
Yeah.
And there's
Brings
something
you back
to
to
be
a certain
said.
moment. Yeah.
Something to be said about your youth and how that sticks with you for life. And so I feel like all the artists who have inspired us, even now, but more so from when we were younger, driving around in your car listening to music is totally a teenage thing to do. It's still very much a part of what we do from the minute we met to even now. Still driving around the city.
Just to ride around on lunch break. And she'll show me a beat, and I'm like, ooh, I like that.
Yep, I sure would.
Yep.
Then he would come back later, and it would be like, oh, you made a song to it. This is really great. Yep. And our writing style is kind of the same thing. It's kind of just like a ride. It's a journey. It's a
and we just feed off each other.
We feed off of each other. Sometimes, I'll write a whole hook and that'll be it. Sometimes he'll write a whole hook and that's it. Sometimes I'll be like, you're a rapper. Give me a really good line.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm really I don't front on my writing skills, but
sometimes you just need those.
But sometimes I just need
Sure.
a bar. Man, give me a couple bars. Like you got it.
Yeah. And so that kind of idea of kind of pushing him, how do you know when he hasn't reached that level and he can go harder? How do you know?
He likes to stay surface. He's really safe at the surface. He don't know how to swim either. And I feel like
real life.
in real life, he don't know how to swim. And so I use this as a metaphor to say sometimes it's easier to float on top because that's where we feel the safest.
Right.
And there are moments where there is something that is calling us to say and to be a lot more than just to be floating on top of the surface. And so he and I being together for as long as we have, married for 13, we've been together much longer than that, like 15, 16 years. I think at this point it's just kind of like I know so much of your story. I know so much of what you've been through. We've shared a lot of our own experiences together and
lived through some too.
And I've been able to peer into your life before, I showed up. Yeah. And so certain songs really, really, really do. We have a song called Weather where I was like, you got to rewrite this. Like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not what this song is about. And I need you to just be for real with yourself.
Dig deeper.
Yeah, dig deeper.
Yeah, and so that idea of working as a team has been evident through your music, but also outside of music now, or I guess still including music, but more so overall community, because it feels like you can't really bring up iLLism without also bringing up the legacy building now, which is a really cool thing. And just tell me where that idea started.
Yeah.
We so like at home in our basement, that has been like our HQ, like where we did most of our albums and recording and everything. And we've always wanted just like a place where we could have, it's basically like a creative playground. Because we do much more than just music. We're into media. We do video. She does graphic work. Like we try to like cover a lot of ground because as artists, that's pretty much what we have to do. Especially like if you're an artist who don't have a budget, figure out how to record yourself, or figure out how to do your own music videos. And so all these skills that we acquired over time, we took that and we were like, let's pour it into legacy building. Literally one day just driving to get coffee and I seen a for rent sign in there and we're like,
in the building.
And it's like, yo, we gave the landlord the vision and he was sold.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know.
Yeah. And so I was shocked to hear how quick of a process that was. But what was the hardest part about making it established? Was it the interior design? I know you had kind of mentioned that. What was that process?
Absolutely. The interior was the space used to be the Pink Closet, which was like a consignment store, and then it was Solstice Records.
Yep.
And so different energies have been in there, and so the layout, what the people who were in those spaces, what they did in there too was a lot different. The owner, he himself, after both of those companies moved out of there, he himself makes synthesizers. I can never say that word good. He makes synthesizers, and so he had synth stuff everywhere. Music gear was all
Cords,
over the
cables.
place. So it was like So it was cleaning up. It was he kind of had put up like some like disgusting walls, and so it was painting. It was creating a vision. It was trying to figure out, okay,
how do we transform this space?
how do we transform this space?
Right.
Yeah, not only to just be comfortable, but it's like, oh, this is y'all. Like this looks like y'all. You know, it looks like y'all's space. It looks like who we present ourselves to be, and now people can come in and they can also be a part of that, and they can leave who they are behind too. We have amazing artwork all throughout the building from local Black artists, amazing pieces of work throughout the building. Some that have been left because of events that we've had, and they're like, I just want to leave it here. I love it here. And some that people have come and dropped off.
Yeah.
So the space, of course, when we put it all together, it was he and I, but now it's just become this community space with other people's energies in it, and I think that it is really freaking cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing that interior, you can totally see how it's just this element of unity and community.
Yeah.
So bouncing off of that, what's been like the most satisfying or surreal part of having a space like that is built on community?
Watching people use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seeing people come through the door.
Just utilizing.
Yes, absolutely. Watching people do it. We know, and I know as an artist, as a creative, it is a struggle. It is hard to get people on the same page as you. You believe so much in what you do. And because we know that struggle, because I know that struggle, there is just something inside of both of us. It's just like, how can we be helpful to other artists so you don't have to struggle as much? Like, you know, you need
There's
a place
ton of voids to fill.
Yeah, you need a place to create, or a place to record, or a place to rehearse. You know, space is a really big deal for artists and for any creative. And so to be able to offer that is a really, really great feeling. For sure. There's lots of people who have come in through the door who said, this is my first time ever performing, or this is my first time ever reciting a poem, or coming to your event, this is my first time doing this. It's like, wow, you chose to do it here. And
also
that
just,
feels really good.
Just hearing somebody say, thank you, I needed that.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if they aren't performing or doing it, and they're just there to enjoy whatever is being done. A lot of that is it right there. That's it.
Absolutely. And that's such a cool place to see. And from starting out, you know, from the Southside mixtape to Songs About Girls to now these full-length projects together as iLLism, to creating the legacy building, to having Crown Media. What else is on your radar? What can we look for in the future for iLLism? I know you guys have an open mic.
Well, we're chasing Grammys right now, so that's the first thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Honestly, we're about to start working on a new album, but I think getting out and touring is going to be a big thing for us.
I think that too, and just ever since the pandemic, the music scene in the Twin Cities is completely different, like way different. There are so many talented artists. I was like, oh my God, where were you at in 2019?
Yeah,
Where were you
yeah,
at? Like,
yeah,
like,
no,
where,
totally.
like, how old are you? Is it because you were just like a shorty, or is like, you know, like what's going on? And I am myself am really looking forward to really nurturing and nourishing other artists so that our ecosystem here can be an industry. It's totally possible. From people who do podcasts to people in media. All these people have come out of the woodwork, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is great. And now we have this space where we all can flourish together if you so choose to do it. But either way, iLLism is always going to be at the forefront of our goal is always about community. It's about family, and it's about just pursuing your purpose. And that can change. It can change all the time.
And artist empowerment.
Yeah,
Sometimes
empowering
you can just do it yourself. You know,
and you guys are a great case of that, where you had to do a lot of it
absolutely
yourself.
Absolutely.
And so that same vein of calling all artists, I know there's an event happening at the Legacy Building this Sunday.
There is.
Yes. That is
rotation.
our rotation jam session. So
very cool.
Any artists that want to come out and show their talents, pull up.
Yeah.
That's our motto.
That's so fun.
If you create, pull up, regardless of what it is. Any voice, any instrument. Even if you want to put an easel up and paint while the band is going, please do.
That's awesome.
Please do.
That is so cool. And I couldn't agree more with the sentiment that there's so much talent here within the Twin Cities.
There is.
And I just appreciate you guys being as talented as you are, being here today. We really appreciate it. On this, again, pretty cold day. Are there any lasting remarks, anything I missed, any words of wisdom you guys want to leave our audience off with today?
Listen to iLLism, bet. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Okay. It's a good place to start.
Bet on yourself. That's what we did, and it's been working.
Yeah.
Yes. And go with the journey. No one's journey is yours.
And let's connect. If there's people that need some help with just figuring out how do I set up copyright, or how do I
do BMI or register my music, or how do I book a show? I know that's one of the things that we're working on in 2023 is to get all the booking people from
different venues,
staff, Ice House, get everyone together, and get artists in this room too,
so
because that's the number one thing I feel like for artists is that. And so, to leave on that note, we got y'all.
Yeah, we're definitely out here advocating for ourselves, but also just people who are coming behind us.
Yeah, when we open the door, people can walk through.
It's
just like when people open the door, we can walk through.
Absolutely. It's very clear to see. And again, thank you guys for being here today.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
That is a wrap.